utilize guidance. Have your child come see us. You guys can email us. This stuff is all available online. This is the first time really that it's been thrown at you. If you've had a child that has gone through the school already, chances are pretty good that this has all changed. So definitely utilize your resources. I can almost promise you that I will run out of time, but I will do the best that I possibly can to get all of this. We're going to do the application process. So the biggest thing in the application process is staying organized, being aware of deadlines, knowing what you have to do at one point, getting one thing done, cross off your list, moving on to the next thing. Unlike missing a homework assignment, saying, oh yeah, teacher, I forgot to turn it in, can I turn it in tomorrow? The majority of teachers would say yes. I missed a test, can I take it tomorrow? The majority of teachers would say yes. With college application deadlines, if you miss the deadline, you're out of luck. So you want to be aware of when your schools want your applications by. We're going to go over the different deadlines right after this slide. Some of you guys may have gone to the Naviance presentation already. You want to make sure that you're registering with Naviance. This might be the first time you've heard Naviance. This might be the 10th time you've heard Naviance. It's definitely not going to be the last time. It's the biggest tool that we use. You guys do research on it. We submit stuff through Naviance. We link accounts through Naviance. So if you're not familiar with it, you definitely want to be familiar with your Naviance account. There's a student one and there's a parent Naviance account. For those of you guys that have not registered as parents, email the guidance counselor. We can get you your registration code. I want to go back. With Naviance, if you guys lose your registration information or login information, we can help you with that. We can reset your password. We can tell you what your email address is. Unlike the next two, creating a college board account. If you guys plan on taking the SATs, PSATs, which is new, this is how you're going to register through the college board account. So whether you're registering for a test, whether you're sending your scores for a test, if you take it one time, 2 times, 3 times, every time you log on to register or to submit your scores, you need to go through the College Board or ACT website. We cannot help you if you lose that login information. So you want to make sure that when you create your account, that you write that information down. Creating a Common App account. How many of you guys have heard of the Common Application? For those of you guys that have heard of the Common Application, how many of you guys really know what it is? Okay. Some of you guys. So we're going to get into that in this presentation. Do not run home and create a Common App account tonight. Right now, the current Common Application that's up there is for the current senior class. This year is the earliest that they're going to release it. So for the juniors, it's going to be available in the spring. So you'll be able to work your entire summer on your application and your essay and getting everything done. It's typically not available until late August, but you guys are the lucky ones. And same with the Common App account. The Common App account, we don't have access. So if you log in too early, you won't be able to register for next year. It's a process to go and get that information changed. If you lose your login information, it's a pain for you to contact them and get that. So just make sure when you're creating these accounts, you keep it all in the same area. And then if you guys are plan on playing sports in college, you're going to register through NCAA Clearinghouse. I know that Steve gave a presentation. For those of you guys that weren't able to go, it's basically if you plan on playing a school, make sure that everybody has an equal playing field. You register, we submit your current transcripts. When you graduate, we submit your final transcripts, and there's different parts to it. So if you're planning on playing a D1 or D2 sport, you need to register at the NCAA Clearinghouse. Questions on any of that? This is an application checklist. Even if this was enlarged to full size, you guys would not be able to see this. So junior year, when we meet with you guys in the next couple weeks, we're going to give you guys, we're going to meet with you, I believe, before February vacation. We're going to give you this college application checklist. Basically what it is every step in the college application process, whether it's creating an account, whether it's sending your scores, registering, signing the FERPA, which we're not going to get into, but it's something you guys are going to have to do next year. This form you will not see. You'll see it once In the next couple weeks, the juniors, seniors that I work with, you'll see it at the end of this year, and you will also see it during senior year. Senior year, I make you carry it with you, so that every time you guys have a question, you're able to log into your accounts. Every time we complete something on the list, we're able to check it off, okay? So I walk through the process with you. Alright, so we're going to talk about deadlines. Like I said to you, being aware of your deadlines is the most important first step in applying to schools. Early action, restricted early action, and early decision 1 and 2 are all similar in the sense that they all have very similar deadlines. They're early. November 1st, November 15th, December 1st, December 15th. Where they differ is early action, you can apply to as many schools as you want to. Early action, you apply by the early deadline, you typically know by December vacation if you guys are into the school or not. Early decision, I'm going to skip over the restricted early action right now. Early decision 1 and 2, early decision regardless of which one it is binding. If you get into that particular school, you must go to that school. The only way you can get out of it is if financially your needs are not met. So you have to prove by taxes, whatever it takes, that you cannot pay for that school. You have to sign a contract saying that I'm applying to this particular school, early decision, and only the school. The student fills one out, the parent signs off on it, and the counselor signs off on it. So it's pretty, they hold you to it. The only difference between early decision 1 and 2 is the deadline. So one might be a November 1st deadline, one might be a January 1st deadline. Both are binding for the early decision. Does that make sense? The pros and cons to, restricted early action is you're applying early action. You can only apply to one school restricted early action, but it is not binding. So you're showing, yes, I want to go to your school, but if you get in, you do not have to go. In each year, they're adding more and more terms. I'm sure that there's more out there. These are the most common ones right now. The pros of applying early are you apply early, you know earlier if you've got into a particular school. The tough part about early action is you might be a good candidate for the school. They're looking for a 3.5 grade point average. You have a 3.5, you have a 3.6. They're not looking at you. They're looking at 3.7, 3.8, 3.9. They're more selective in the early action process because they can be. Because more and more kids are applying to schools early action. So what they'll do, 3 things will happen. You get into the school, which is fantastic. You get denied from the school, not so fantastic. Or you get deferred. Deferred means that you still have something that they're looking for, you still meet their qualifications, they're still interested in you, so they're putting you in the regular applicant pool. So you're in with the regular decision students now. Some students will say, I get denied early action, I should have applied, I should have waited till regular decision. If they applied, this is coming from the schools, if you applied early action and you got denied, there's a very good chance you're going to get denied regular decision too. So it's not, they're still really considering you guys if you're deferred. Okay, does that make sense? Questions on any of those 3 right now? Then there's rolling and regular decision. So for the parents out there that say, by Thanksgiving time, I want your applications done. You apply to UMass Amherst and you apply to Salem State. I'm using these 2 because I know the deadlines. UMass Amherst has a January 15th deadline, Salem State has a rolling deadline. So by Thanksgiving time, both of those applications are out. UMass Amherst is not looking at your application. They're not even going to start until January 15th when the deadline is. With rolling admissions, what they're going to do is as schools get your applications, they're going to review applications and they're going to let you know as they make their decisions. So by Thanksgiving time, by Christmas time, you might know, yes, I get into the schools that I applied early action to. I might hear back from my rolling admission schools. I am not hearing back from my regular decision deadlines yet. Does that make sense? Rolling, I wouldn't suggest applying in September. You can, but most of the materials aren't ready yet. If you apply early November, typically rolling admission schools usually accept applications until July of your senior year. I would not wait that long because once the spots are filled, they no longer take kids rolling action anymore, or rolling admissions anymore. Questions on any of these? This is what the Common Application is actually what last year's looks like. It's changed a little bit this year. Unfortunately, I don't really know how to change a PowerPoint. You can see it, I don't know how to put it up here. Like I said, don't run home and create a Common App account yet. However, if there's some schools that you guys are tossing around, that you guys are talking about within your family, you can click on member colleges without creating an account and see what schools currently take the Common Application. Each year, more and more schools apply. So if you had a student that applied 4 years ago, there's going to be more schools on here. When you guys apply next year, there may be even more schools. I mean, there's not going to be 30 more schools, but there may be a handful more schools that accept the Common Application. And then these are the different parts to the Common Application. Basically what the Common Application is, when we apply to schools, if we're applying to 10 schools, we filled out 10 applications. 10 of the exact same applications that ask for the same information. The application, the pages, the colors might have been different, and the school was different. That's the only thing. So what the colleges created was the Common Application, because they know that the application process is in addition to starting your senior year, being overwhelmed that yes, next year you're going to be leaving. I have to do the college application process. I'm playing sports, I'm working, I'm having a social life. I have all these things going on. So they're trying to simplify it as much as they possibly can. So the application, the actual application part, not the items listed below, the application part is super easy. Your name, your date of birth, your address, what classes you're taking in school, activities that you've done, stuff that you know off the top of your head, you don't even have to think about it. The difficult part that most people procrastinate, we're going to skip ahead, is the essay. The essay is a very important part of the application process. They're going to look at your grade point average. They're going to look at your SAT scores. They're going to look at your class rank. They're going to look and see, okay, freshman year you started off in all CP classes and got straight A's, and you either stayed in CP classes and got straight A's, or you challenged yourself and took some honors classes and get straight A's. So they're going to look at so many different things. The essay is when there's a couple different people that have the identical applications, transcripts, SAT scores, things like that. The essay is really your opportunity to shine. The Common App gives you 5 essay topics. They used to have 6. One of them was topic of your choice. They've done away with that. So some of the topics are describe a significant event that has had an impact on your life. A person that's had a significant impact on your life. Different things like that. So you're going to actually have to choose one essay and write about it. How do I do that, you may say? The majority of the English teachers will have you write an essay either second or third trimester. So you guys will write, they'll give you the prompts from the college, from the Common App. You guys will write an essay, turn it in, the teachers will edit it, you guys will revise it, you can turn it back in. So you guys can go back and forth 2, 3, 4 times, and it serves 2 purposes. At the end of the assignment, you can have an A, so you get an A on an assignment, and you can have your essay completely done by the time you leave for vacation in June. Some of you may say, well, what if my student doesn't have English? Every student will have the opportunity to work with somebody on the essay, whether it's in English class. They had 2 English teachers freshman year, 3 sophomore year. They'll have at least 2 their junior year. So there is a teacher here at the school that they can work with, whether it's after school, whether it's with the Google Docs now, students they can write their essay, share it with the teacher. Teachers can comment on the side. They can make changes without even actually meeting with the teacher. If you guys are night owls and you want to finish your essay at night, you can't make it after school because you're playing a sport, there's an opportunity for every single student to work with somebody, whether it's in the classroom or after class. The other thing, which was new last year, is Meg Ryan, who is a guidance counselor, Carrie Caffrey, who is an English facilitator, and Mary Gregoire, who is an retired department head. They had a program last summer that students were able to start their Common Application and have their essay completely done and edited by 2 fantastic English teachers, and they were done with it before school even started. The nice thing for you guys is you guys have access to the Common Application starting this spring. They have not let us know when you guys will have access to it, but you guys, there's a week-long intensive in July, and then there's the 3 Monday nights in August. If you guys choose to sign up for that, you can be done your entire application and your entire essay, revised, edited, and everything by the time you even come back for school in September. So I don't have a whole lot, there's not a ton of details. We do have the dates, I don't have the cost for you, and we don't even have the flyer. But if you are interested in that, you can contact us in the next couple of weeks or go online to the community programs. But there's an opportunity for everybody. Make sense?
Is there a benefit though of doing the school's application versus the common application if they accept the common?
So quite a few years ago, before we had this set up, we had a panel discussion. BU, Harvard, UMass Amherst, and there's a fourth school, I don't remember who it was. If they give you a choice, most schools don't anymore. Most of them, if they take the Common App, they only take the Common App. But if the schools give you a choice between school application or Common Application, SAT or ACT, it's not a trick question. They really are giving you the opportunity to choose whichever one you want. Yes. That was a popular question back when schools did both. I don't know if any schools do both anymore. The majority is either the school application or the Common App. Yep. That's a good question. Questions on any of that? I've made the Common App sound very easy. It's not all that easy. Because the Common Application is just that, it's common to many schools. It cannot ask you specific questions about majors. If there's multiple campuses, which campus you're interested in. So the supplement is something that is part of the Common Application. The supplement asks school-specific questions. Some of you guys might be going for business, some of you guys may be going for education or any other of the tons of majors out there. So if you're applying to a school like Bentley, they're going to give you a drop-down bar. These are the majors we offer. What are you interested in? If you're applying to UMass Amherst, they're going to give you a drop-down bar. What major, what's your first choice, which is your second choice? So the supplement is school-specific. If you had a parent or sibling that attended one of the particular schools, you're able to answer that right on the supplement. If you're applying for financial aid from Bentley but not UMass, you have the opportunity to answer those specific questions right on those. The majority of the supplements do not have an additional essay. I sat down with many of my seniors this year and I filled out the supplements with them because they panicked. They look at them and they're like, oh, that's all it is. So it is super easy, but you do have to do them in order to submit your application. The nice thing is you can't submit your Common Application until every single thing is done, so you will not miss a part. You might get frustrated because you can't send something. That's when you come down and we kind of look at what you guys have done and what you're missing. Questions on supplements? All right, so we'll go back up to forms. SSR is the secondary school report, mid-year report, and final report. It's basically, for most students, it's the same exact information. It's asking for class rank, your class rank, your grade point average, highest grade point average in the class, what the passing mark is, how many APs are offered, how many honors classes are offered. Basically school information with a little bit of information about you. It wants you to verify which classes you guys are taking senior year. So you're not saying you're taking 5 APs, and really you're taking 15 electives. So it's really just verifying what you guys are putting on there. The mid-year report is the same exact thing. If you guys have not been suspended, if you guys have very similar grades to the secondary school report, nothing changes, we just press submit. And then the final report, same thing. If no suspensions, if there's no changes to your academic programming, we send that to the school that you choose to go to. Does that make sense? Recommendations we're going to get to in a minute. We talked about the essay. Resume, I'm going to go over this very quickly. Sophomore year, we created Naviance accounts with every sophomore that was there that particular day. So I would say about 95% of sophomores should have a Naviance account. We asked them to start their resume. As you guys take part in something in high school, enter it into your resume, because come September, October, November, when you're doing that, that's the part you're going to say, oh yeah, I did this, 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 and this. You submit your application, you're like, oh, I forgot about this and this. So if you just stay organized, enter things as you do them. You can always add, if you played soccer, freshman, sophomore, junior year, you played senior year, so you can add it. Or if you added it and chose not to play senior year, you can unclick it. But again, the more organized you are, the better off you guys are going to be in this entire process. And then the payment. Every single thing with the college application process charges you. So when we send your transcript, I'm going to show you a copy of the transcript release form. You guys have to pay for every transcript we send. A lot of it's electronic, but a lot of the stuff they require, once we send something electronic, we can't resubmit it. A lot of the stuff we have to send through snail mail, so it covers the cost of the stamp, the postage, the paper, the fax, things like that. So that's a transcript release form. SATs, every time you sign up to take it, it charges you. Every school you send it to charges you. ACT, same thing, and every application that you send out will charge you anywhere from $35 to $125. Some schools will say if you fill out the priority application, we'll waive your fee. If you do this, we'll waive your fee. Take advantage of it. It's a free application. You can save $50, save $50. But just know that it's a costly process. What I'm going to throw in here is the average number of schools are about 6 to 8 schools. Some students this year applied to 15 schools, which is great, but it's a huge cost to the family. So if you're only applying to Harvard to see if you get into Harvard, you might want to save some money. But it's a big cost. Questions on any of this? All right, so I'm going to skip over the council recommendation for a minute. Requesting teacher recommendations. Not every, but most schools will require 1 teacher recommendation. Some schools will accept 2. If you ask 4 teachers for a recommendation, it's not going to help you. Schools are not going to read them. You want to ask 1 to maybe 2 teachers that you have a solid relationship with that can write you a fantastic recommendation. You don't necessarily have to have an A in the class, but if you were in class, you took part in discussion, you were a leader in the class, you had a good relationship with the teacher, that's the teacher that you want to ask for your recommendation. Should be a junior year teacher, but if you had a sophomore year, because you guys have 3 English classes, if you had the same English teacher all year, that teacher's okay to ask as well. But if you're only asking 1 teacher, you want to make it a core teacher, because that's what schools want. Some schools will accept 2 teacher recommendations, so if you're in the music program, if you have an advisor that can write you a nice recommendation, that's okay, but make sure if you're only asking for 1, you have 1 core teacher recommendation. Does that make sense? You're going to go about doing this by asking them face-to-face before summer vacation. Hello, Mrs. So-and-so, would you be willing to write my college recommendation? Most teachers will say yes. Teachers write recommendations in addition to teaching, grading, personal lives, taking care of their kids, coaching, doctor's appointments, things like that. So don't just assume that if you walk into them November 15th and say have a December 1st deadline, they're going to write one. They do take a lot of work. They don't take one from last year, copy and paste the name. That's not what schools are looking for. They want a personalized recommendation from each teacher and counselor. So ask them before summer vacation. You're going to request it through Naviance. I won't go into too much detail on that. You can either come to your guidance counselor. It will take us 2 seconds to log into your account and send that request through Naviance. Once you send that request, it will link all of our accounts so that we're able to send your recommendations through Naviance, which will link to your College Board account, your Common App account, so everything will go to the same place. Does that make sense? Again, this can be so overwhelming. It's a nice, smooth process. Take advantage of using your guidance counselor, asking them questions, coming down. Debbie Conti and her crew do a fantastic job of sending information out, so they'll walk you through the process as well. Questions on the teacher recommendation? One thing to keep in mind with this, like I said, it takes a lot of time. A little thank you goes a long way, whether it's a little thank you card or face-to-face, hey, thanks, I know that you did this for me. I appreciate it. I got into these particular schools. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It does not have to be a gift. It's just a little thank you. I can't tell you the teachers that have come down and said, oh, so-and-so said thank you for writing the recommendation. It means a lot. I'm going to go back to the counselor recommendation. Again, I know you can't read it, and I apologize for this. This is in your Naviance account, under the student recommendation form. We created this form 15 years ago. There were 3 of us that were new in the guidance department. So when we came in September and October, we needed to start writing recommendations. I don't even know how to do my job, never mind write a recommendation about a student that I never met. We found it so helpful that we've kept it all these years. We're not looking for your deepest, darkest secrets. We're looking for information that's going to help us write you a better recommendation. Schools change what they're looking for in a recommendation. We don't talk about your clubs and activities. We don't talk about what a straight A student you are. That's all in your application. It's basically how we know you as a person, how what you've done in your outside life has been brought to North Andover High School and has made you the person that you are, which kind of makes it easier for us to write these recommendations. There's a box about this big for each of the questions. You do not need to fill that box. We don't write more than a 1-page recommendation. So the solid information that we might not know about you, you want to include in there. The questions are, list 3 words to describe yourself. Tell me a story that illustrates who you are as a person. Things like that. Do you think that your test scores truly reflect who you are as a student? It's getting your insight on things without me looking at your transcript, SAT scores. We don't need to know that stuff. You guys are including that in your application. And then there's a parent recommendation form. This actually needs to be done by June 30th. Parents have panicked when they heard that. Most kids will get it done, some kids don't, so it gives a little bit of wiggle room. So we're not going to not write your recommendation if it's not done, but again, stay organized in the process. There's also a parent recommendation form, because kids might say, oh, let me hurry up and get this done, or oh, I forgot about that, or they don't even think to write it. So there's a parent one asking very similar questions. If you create your Naviance account in the parent portal, you will have access to the parent recommendation form. Students that need a guidance counselor recommendation must fill this out. Parents is totally optional, but we have found them very useful in the past. Questions on recommendations? Okay, so this is the transcript release form. It looks very overwhelming. This could not be any easier. Like I said, forget if I told you in the first 2, these kind of mix. If you're applying to a community college, an Ivy League, or anywhere in between, we must send you transcripts. We cannot do so without your permission. So this is telling me who you are, and you're signing, saying, yes, you can send my transcripts. It tells me who the guidance counselor is. So we know who's getting the form. First column, the deadline. Second column, regular decision, rolling, early decision, things like that. The next one says college, school address. We don't need the address. Basically what we need, because most things go electronic, all we need you to do is write the name of the school that you're applying to, who's writing your teacher recommendations, are you applying online using the Common App. That's it. If you decide to apply to one school early action, you're going to fill in this form for that one school, turn it in. If you apply to 4 more schools down the road, grab it on the form, fill it out, and turn it in. They're available online. They're available in the guidance department. This form is due to guidance 30 days, 1 month before your application deadline. We really don't budge on that because of the number of students who are applying to schools early action. If we have 75 kids and 50 of them are applying early action, that then gives us 30 days to make sure that your transcript is correct, that it's not missing anything, that it's uploaded, that all the forms are filled out, uploaded, that your teachers have completed their recommendations and uploaded them, and it gives us time to make sure that every student's our part of the application is out. Your stuff does not need to be done. If you have a November 1st deadline, you turn this into me by October 1st, your application does not need to be done. But you can now know that you no longer have to worry about your teacher recommendation if you've requested one from your teacher, your counselor recommendation, your transcripts, your school forms that we fill out, those are now on our plate because we have this. If you have it to us 30 days before, we will make sure that everything is out probably 2 to 3 weeks later. We don't send it right on the deadline. We make sure that everything is out in a timely manner. Questions on this?
Sooner than 30 days is fine?
Sooner than 30 days is fine, yes. Some students have turned it in like September 1st, September 2nd, which is great, but the transcripts, they have to get a copy of it, make sure that it's completely accurate, that there's not a class missing, so we don't send them out that early. We typically send them out October 1st, the earliest. But if you have a December 1st deadline, you turn it in October 15th, absolutely. Questions on this? This is the first time all night I've gotten to this slide. College visits. As juniors, you guys have 3 college visit days. We have a fantastic program in the guidance department because of Debbie Conti and our parent volunteers that set up the college rep visits. September, October, early November. We have college reps, over, I think about 120 of them, that come to our school. Students can ask them questions. They're the ones, we need to know general information. These college reps will know every single thing that you ask them about their particular school, so take advantage of it. You guys can go to as many of them. If they fall during your lunch period, you can go to as many of those as you want. If they fall during a class, you can only miss 1 class. So you have 5 periods. If the college reps come during 5 different time blocks, you can go to 5 different classes, reps, and then however many you have during your lunch block. Does that make sense? Kind of. College campus visits. As juniors, you have 3 college campus visit days. You bring in a form signed by your parents saying that you're visiting a particular school. Take the day, go visit the school. It does not count towards credit reduction. As seniors, you guys have 5 college visit days. We highly encourage you guys to see schools when they're in session. So over the summer, it's a great time to see the campus. Which school is not going to be beautiful in the summer? See them when students are there. See what the atmosphere is like. See if you can see yourself on that campus. February vacation, April vacation, they're in session, you're not. So that's also a time for you guys to check out some schools. You have 3 times during the school year, and then you have 5 times next year that you guys can go visit schools. Sound good? You overwhelmed yet?
Yeah.
Like I said, utilize guidance. You guys, the students can come down, you guys can email us. We are always available. Thank you guys.